I'm Karen Bagley, the owner of Significant Moments Photography, and I am here to introduce to you the social design app powered by Fundy. Now, after many years of speaking and teaching, one of the things that I have found is that photographers and creatives as a whole struggle pretty heavily with staying regular on their social media platforms. Why? Because of the amount of time that is invested to keep them up. Well, not anymore, because the social design app is designed to cut hours out of your time that it takes for you to post on your social media. So what I'm going to do is show you a brief but very thorough tutorial on how to use the social design app so that you can stay very regular on posting on your social media, saving you hours of time and helping you in your marketing. So of course the whole point of the social design app is to save you time, but this tutorial, because we are going a little bit deeper, will be a little bit longer than what it would take for you to start it. So as you see, as you log in, you're going to click create a new project right in the top right corner. Once this page pulls up, you are going to actually select create new. I like to have my own personal folder of the images that I want to use for the social design app. Now, while they are loading, which takes just a couple of seconds, couple of minutes, depending on how good your internet is, it'll start to load those up. Now, this is where you are going to have specific titles. So not only are you going to have the actual project name, but each panel is going to have to do with whatever it is that you're marketing. So you can see here, I typed in Significant Moments Portfolio. The next panel, I'm going to enter in editorial. The panel following that, I'm going to enter in editorial. Sorry, I flip-flop those. I started with editorial, then I started with maternity. And then, of course, that in-panel text is going to be where you would put possibly a call of action or, reserve now, book now, something to that degree so that you can get that traffic coming to you. Now, once you have to ignore all of my lovely typing. I type so quick that I misspell everything. But once you have all of your panel text entered, project name together, you're going to want to already have your logo uploaded. I always use the PNG version because I don't want the white or black background that would be with it. Now, once you have your logo selected, that is when you're going to go through the templates to see what fits you best. Now, here I'm just scrolling. You can see me hovering over the choose, which means that you could totally make a template on your own with all of the features that the social design app has. But for the sake of time, I actually choose something that's a little closer to my brand, which is a bit more modern. And I go ahead and click that template base itself. Now, once you see here, the images are being uploaded, and it is automatically going to design both a story and a carousel for you. Now, as you see there, you can go back and you can actually click on that edit button to edit the story and or the carousel, which I will make a separate video on that as well. So here you're seeing me basically just design and lay out exactly where I want my images to go. Now, as far as the creating process goes, you really have no limits here. You can change the text, you can change the size of things, you can change the size of the images. It really kind of all boils down to what you want. Now, over here to the left, you see me going through the different forms of text, which again is just more of a branding thing. You can always leave everything as is because the social design app has done a very amazing job of branding, making sure that the text matches the modern feel, depending on the template that you choose. However, if you did want to change it, what you saw just there was me going through the text up there at the top. You can also see at the top there, you can bold, you can underline, you can italicize, you can center, you can also delete things that are there that maybe you don't want. What you see me playing with right here is the word maternity, because obviously the page layout that it was on was still more of my editorial work. So I wanted those images to be a bit bigger. than what they were. Now I am here going to drag that image to fill that page a bit more. And then once that happens, I obviously don't want the image face to be underneath. So you can see I go to the very, very top of the page there, and that little double square button is going to help you pull that image to the front of the layer of images themselves. So right there, the darker like double square, it's going to ask you bring to the top, move to the bottom, and that's how you pull those images to layer properly the way that you want them to. So then I'm just going to center my images, make sure that I'm happy with the overall look of everything. And then, which just as a side note, to move things, if you're used to like Photoshop or anything like that, in this actual social design app here, to move an image, you have to make sure and grab from the orange line. Wait for that little hand to pop up on the overall orange line, the grand orange line that's on the outside. See right here when I'm moving the maternity word, that little hand is on the orange line itself to move things. Now here also too, before that, in between these maternity images here, you can select both of those images and kind of move them wherever you feel that they're gonna look best. And here you see me again kind of resizing the verbiage because I don't want it to take up the entire the whole page. Again, you see me using that orange line. Wait for that hand to pop up before you start trying to move anything. Now also here you're going to see me go back up, make sure that it's perfectly centered with the actual image and the template itself. I don't like anything to be off-centered unless if I'm doing it on purpose, and here I want it perfectly centered. So again, paying attention to that little hand there, you have to wait for that hand to pop up on that orange line for you to move it. Now over here, I am going to add that modern classic line that you see. So if you look through from the template from the beginning from left to right, you see the editorial and you see that modern classic line above the word editorial. Then you see that modern classic line on this second template page above and below the image. So for the last template page, I wanted to have that same modern classic line to kind of keep that unification between everything. I wanted it below the words reserve your session today. So I went over to the toolbar that says elements and went to the modern classic element because that is the actual template that I'm in. And that's where all you have to do is click on that line and drag it where you want it to go. You see me doing the same thing here with maternity because again, I did want that modern classic line to be up underneath and again centered with the verbiage, because as you see throughout the entire template, if you look again from left to right with editorial, the template, that modern classic line is in the middle of the verbiage there. Now what you see me doing here is actually enlarging my symbol of my company. I didn't mind that it was a little bit smaller, but I just didn't want it quite that small. You will also know when you're centered because that little blue line will pop up. Now here I am going to, once I'm done and I'm set, this is where I am downloading and exporting this entire template itself. And it'll take just a couple of seconds. And this is me actually being a little more custom inside the template, which is what takes just a little bit longer than if you were to just stick with how the template comes. But that's the beauty of the social design app, right? So you can just stay exactly with what the template is, and you're talking about maybe, a minute, 30 seconds compiling the entire thing, or you can do something like what I'm doing here. And this is mainly just to kind of show you the features that are available to you. And then that obviously adds a little bit of time, but in the grand scheme of things, if in normal life, to try to design something like this, you're looking at, a few hours, depending on your skill level in Photoshop or wherever you may be making it. Some of you may be using Canva. You're still looking at hours of time versus a matter of minutes with the social design app. And that's what we're here for, is to be able to save time so that we have beautiful unified content that is easy to function and easy to use, and ready to go, so that our marketing is staying on point. So while this is finishing up, and we're going to start to export it, I just want to summarize with basically stating the beauty of social design app, the beauty of the social design app is going to be the fact that it is genuinely a drag and drop situation. Now, while you may have a few tweaks that you want to do or incorporate, it is entirely a drag and drop system, and being able to make sure that things are centered are already curated in the app itself. So here you just see me putting it in a specific folder. Like I said, when it comes to social media marketing, I keep everything in its own little folder, and that's all you see me doing here, is creating a folder for my template to go.